CPP2 is increasing the size of Canada Pension Plan benefits. It's going to make retirement easier for many people, but it's also going to change the way that we approach retirement planning. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 different ways that retirement planning is changing based on these increased CPP benefits. At the end of the video, I'm also going to show you a case study that just illustrates how big an impact CPP2 is having on retirement planning. Now, part of my job as an advice-only financial planner is to anticipate how retirement planning might change in the future. This could be due to investment returns, it could be due to inflation rates, it could be changes in taxes and legislation, but it's also changes in Canada Pension Plan benefits and how that might affect future retirement plans. All day long, I think about retirement planning. It could be while building retirement plans for clients. It could be during client conversations. It could be while we're increasing the functionality of the advice platform, or it could be when I'm creating content like this. But if you're building your own retirement plan, if you're using the advice platform, if you're building your own retirement plan, you probably don't have enough time to think about ways that retirement planning might change, different strategies in the future. So in this video, I want to share with you the 5 different ways that I think retirement planning and retirement strategies will change based on this increased CPP benefit. But I want to know what you think. They say that 2 heads are better than 1. So in the comments, let me know how you think retirement planning and retirement planning strategies will change based on this increased CPP benefit. If you watched our previous video, then you know how big this CPP benefit will be in the future. If you didn't watch that video, I'm going to put a link to that video in the description for this video so that you can check it out. But let's do a quick recap just to understand how big this CPP benefit will be in the future. So the base CPP benefit, CPP1, the current base benefit is $16,645 per year. That's the old CPP1 benefit, but we're already seeing an expansion with CPP2. CPP2 started in 2019. It slowly got rolled out. This is the first year, 2025, where we get a full credit towards CPP2 benefits. That being said, we can already see that the maximum for this year, if you were to start CPP, the maximum CPP2 benefit is $552 per year in 2025. But in the future, this is going to get a lot bigger. So the maximum CPP2 benefit in the future, when fully rolled out, is going to be $8,633 per year. That's on top of the base CPP1 benefit. That means that the combined CPP1 plus CPP2 benefit in the future will be $25,278 per year at a maximum. All of these values are in today's dollars. They're just going to go up with inflation and wage growth in the future. CPP is going to be huge in the future, and that is going to change retirement planning. Let's take a look at the 5 different ways that CPP2 is going to change retirement planning, change retirement strategies. Now, the first way that CPP2 is going to change retirement is that you need to save less in the future. With an increased CPP2 benefit, you are making increased contributions. It's like a forced savings plan, and it's actually being matched by your employer. So this is a matched retirement program. CPP2 means that you have to save less in the future because you're going to get more on an annual basis from the Canada Pension Plan. Even today at $552, if we use the 4% rule, that's equivalent to having saved an extra $13,000 to $14,000 in net worth financial assets at retirement. If we look forward to the maximum benefit in the future, that is equivalent to over $200,000 in additional financial assets at the 4% rule at the time that you retire. That is a huge, huge change. If we look at a couple, that's twice as big. It's $400,000 in equivalent net worth at retirement based on that maximum future CPP benefit. That is a big change to retirement planning. It means that you need to save less for retirement because you're already being forced to save more through Canada Pension Plan contributions and that employer matching. The second way that CPP2 is going to change retirement planning is that we're going to see less GIS benefits paid out in the future. GIS, Guaranteed Income Supplement, is a generous low income, moderate income retirement benefit. It is based on your taxable income. It's an income tested government benefits. One of the challenges with this benefit is that it has a 50% clawback rate. That means that for every dollar you earn, you see a 50-cent decrease in your GIS benefits. If we think about Canada Pension Plan and CPP2, even already the extra $552 that you could be getting from CPP2 max at a 50% clawback rate means that you might see your GIS benefit go down by $276. You're still coming out ahead, but it's not the full benefit of CPP2. For low and moderate income seniors, this is an important retirement planning consideration. You're not going to get the full benefit of CPP2 in the future. And when we look at the future maximum CPP2 benefit, this means a potential reduction in GIS of over $4,000 per year. Now, for the general public, this could be a benefit because GIS comes out of general tax revenue. So less GIS payments in the future, more forced savings through CPP2 might mean less tax in the future, less need for tax revenue to pay these GIS benefits. Now, the third way that retirement planning might change based on CPP2 is we might see more of the 8-year GIS strategy. The 8-year GIS strategy is a very controversial strategy. We did a video on it previously. I'll put a link to that video in the description for this video. It's a very controversial strategy because it lets you qualify for guaranteed income supplement for a period of 8 years between 65 and 72. And you can do that almost regardless of the amount of financial assets you have. You could have $100,000 in an RSP RIF, or you could have $1 million in an RSP RIF, and this strategy still works. It's a very controversial strategy, but if CPP2 means that we might qualify for less GIS benefits later in retirement, it could be that this strategy, the 8-year GIS strategy, becomes more attractive for that 65 to 72 period. So I could see this come up more often, and we're going to see it in the case study at the end of this video. We're going to see it come up. We're going to see how impactful this strategy, amongst the other things, would have on a retirement plan. Now, the fourth way retirement planning might change is that we might see more people choosing to delay their CPP benefits. If you delay your CPP benefit, you get an increase of 42%. If you delay until age 70, it's an attractive strategy, but it might become more attractive in the future. And here's why. If we add up CPP1 and CPP2, the new maximum, once it's fully rolled out, we're going to have $25,278 per year in total maximum benefit. That's in today's dollars. If we add the 42% increase for delaying until age 70, that becomes $36,000 a year almost. Again, in today's dollars, we'll go up with inflation every year with wage growth. $36,000 a year just from CPP benefits. If we add old age security at that point, now we're getting up to $45,000 a year almost, again, in today's dollars. And so if you start ODS at age 65, if you start CPP then at age 70, if you're getting the max CPP1, CPP2 benefit in the future, all of a sudden $45,000 a year is coming in on a regular basis. And for a couple, that's almost $90,000 a year. And if you remember from our previous video, the median income, after-tax income at the moment in Canada for a family in retirement over the age of 65 is $80,000 a year. So we could have somebody delaying their CPP benefit until age 70, starting CPP at age 65, and meeting, if not all, most of their retirement spending goal. So now the question is, what do we do to bridge between retirement and age 70? So it might change the way we think about retirement planning if more people want to start delaying their CPP until age 70 in the future. Now, before we go into the case study, the fifth way that retirement planning will change in the future based on this increased CPP benefit is that there will be less risk in retirement plans. Now, there's 3 types of risks that we think about when we think about retirement planning, and Canada Pension Plan is going to decrease all of those risks as it expands going into the future. Now, the first risk is investment risk. With Canada Pension Plan and those increased benefits, the increased contributions, we are transferring investment risk to the Canada Pension Plan. It's now a pooled risk amongst all the people who contribute to the CPP benefit. So it means less risk for you as an individual, less investment risk in retirement, and more of that gets transferred to CPP. Now, the other risk that goes down is inflation rate risk. Because Canada Pension Plan is indexed to inflation, an increased CPP benefit in the future means less inflation rate risk. It's going to go up with inflation, so that means less risk for you in retirement with that increased CPP benefit. Now, the third risk that's going to go down is longevity risk. Because CPP continues as long as you live, an increased CPP benefit means that you have less longevity risk. You're going to get more guaranteed income over the course of retirement, no matter how long you live, if that CPP benefit is higher. So the more CPP you're going to get in the future, the less your longevity risk. All three types of risk are going down as that CPP benefit gets bigger. Now let me show you what this looks like in some actual financial plans using some actual financial planning software. We're going to use the advice platform to explore the new CPP1 plus CPP2 benefit in the future. If you don't have a retirement plan yet, we'd highly encourage you to get one started. You can go to advice.ca, click the For Clients section. You can get a retirement plan started. You can use the software, the AI strategies for just $9 a month or $49 for the year. It's extremely inexpensive. Not only do you get access to the software and the AI strategies, but you also get access to our community forum for support where you can ask questions, discuss retirement planning strategies, and you get also access to our bi-monthly webinars. We do 2 webinars every month where we talk about retirement planning strategies, case studies, etc. For $49 a year, it's an incredible value. If you don't have a retirement plan, we'd highly encourage you to get one started. Now let's take a look at this example. Let's take a look at who we're working with here. So we've got Sally and Nick. Sally and Nick are both 45 at the moment. Let's take a look at when they want to retire. They want to retire at age 65. They're earning combined $160,000 a year. This is $80,000 each. This means they're over the CPP2 maximum, the new threshold for income. So they're going to be getting the full contributions, the full credit for CPP2 over the next 20 years as they're contributing. They're not going to get the full CPP2 benefit. They're not going to get the full one because they haven't contributed the 40 years to get the maximum, but they're going to get half or more of what that new maximum is. So their new CPP2 benefit is going to be quite sizable. Combined, it's about $43,000. So I think this is $21,500 or so. In the previous video, we went through every year, every date of birth to see what that increase is going to be. So they're going to get about $5,000 extra each from CPP2 on top of the base CPP1 benefit. Now let's take a look at the rest of their plan. We've got spending goals of about $80,000 a year. It's just flat throughout retirement. We could look at the future. We could look at front loading a little bit of that retirement spending, but pretty good retirement spending number. Again, that's the median for a couple in Canada. Net worth at retirement, they're going to have about $700,000 based on their current savings rate and investment growth. And overall success rate with this new enhanced CPP2 benefit is quite good, 82% success rate. They're going to get almost $1.3 million in lifetime CPP benefits. Now let's flip over to take a look at what this looks like with just the CPP1 only. So let's go over and imagine that CPP2 didn't exist. Let's see what this looks like for this couple now. So they're going to get less from CPP benefit. They're going to get that old base benefit, $16,645 times 2, so that's $33,290. Combined with old age security, we're just over $50,000, but we're $10,000 or so less than it would be with CPP2. So they're getting significantly less here from their future benefits. That means that they need to withdraw $38,000 a year in retirement to close that income gap. If we look at the previous one, it was only $28,000 per year in withdrawals. And so the problem is, if we look at their net worth, because they still only got that $700,000, they're actually depleting all of that money. This means that their success rate goes down to about 50% because there's now a 50-50 shot of running out of money in the future, depending on the sequence of investment returns that they experience. They also, in terms of lifetime benefits, are getting about $300,000 less in lifetime CPP benefits over the course of retirement. So big impact there. Let's go back and take a look at that CPP1 plus CPP2 example. So with the contributions, with the new maximum, again, they're going to get that 43,000 plus 17, so they're over 60,000 a year combined, $28,000 in withdrawals based on that sort of 700,000 in net worth. That's a very reasonable withdrawal rate. So their success rate is much better. But let's explore some other options. Let's look at some of those different strategies we talked about. Let's first take a look at what if we delay this benefit? What if we delay until age 70? Let's make a copy of this scenario. Let's go back here to income and let's use the AI strategies. Let's focus here and we can maybe check them all. Let's get rid of these ones. And already we can see CPP at age 69 is being it's kind of brought to the top here as a top AI strategy. Not a big difference between 69 and 70, so let's just go ahead and choose 70 just to give you that example. Let's recalculate. Let's see how success rate changes over the course of retirement. So here we've got 82% goes up to 100% success rate. So much larger CPP benefit in the future because they've delayed until age 70. We've got old age security here as well. Combined almost $80,000 a year. That means they have to withdraw very little from their registered accounts. So they've got 5 years that they need to draw on their financial assets to bridge that gap. It does mean that they're drawing down those financial assets in the first 5 years, but after that ends up working out much better for them. And because they have the longevity protection, now the success rate is better because in the inflation rate, sort of worst case scenarios, in those longevity scenarios, CPP2 and increased CPP2 benefit plus the delay ends up working out better for them. So let's call this one delay CPP, but let's look at the other example. Let's look at that one, the 8-year GIS strategy. Let's see if that gets filtered up here. So let's make a copy of this one and let's go back to those AI strategies and let's see if there is anything that get popped out, and it is already. I wondered if this would be the case. So it's saying to change the decumulation order, put tax-free first. I suspect the reason is because that's going to help us qualify for GIS. So let's enable that one and let's recalculate and see what this looks like. We already had 100% success rate. So after tax estate value 1.347 million. Let's see what happens after we do this. Almost 1.5. So big increase there. This is that 8-year GIS strategy. It's not quite the full time because they don't have the ability to do that, but it still adds a lot of GIS benefits. Again, this is why that strategy is probably going to be more attractive in the future, and now overall net worth even more attractive. So let's rename this one and call it the GIS strategy. And let's go to the compare section. Let's just compare these. We've gone through fairly quickly, but let's compare these different examples. So we had CPP1 only. So this is the CPP1. And again, remember, they were drawing down all of their financial assets. They just had their home equity towards the end of retirement. And that's because they weren't getting as much from Canada Pension Plan benefits. With the new CPP2 on top of it, it looks much, much better. Huge difference in overall estate value at the end of the plan here. So fairly big, significant difference there between just the base CPP1 plus the additional CPP2 benefit. And remember, they're only getting half of that CPP2 benefit. They're already 45. They've got 20 more years of contributions to CPP2. They're only going to get half of that enhancement. And already it's having a huge, huge impact. Then if we look at delaying CPP, we do see a drawdown on net worth as they delay their CPP benefit, but then it starts to catch up. We hit a break-even point at about age 87, 88, ends up looking better overall. And of course, if we go down here from a success rate perspective, delaying CPP, much more successful because we're managing the investment risk, the inflation rate risk, and the longevity risk. But if we add the GIS strategy in here, and now we compare, now we don't have as much as a drawdown on net worth because we're qualifying for some GIS benefits. So net worth doesn't get drawn down quite as much because we've qualified for a number of years. I think it was around $80,000 in GIS benefit. Maybe this changes in the future, but at the moment, this strategy would be very attractive for this couple because not only does it maximize their estate value, but it increases their success rate to 100%. And that's all because of CPP2 and the delay and then the GIS strategy. So you can really see how retirement planning might change in the future based on this new CPP2 benefit. I find it incredible at how big an impact this is going to have on future retirement planning. As you saw, just a slight shift in the strategies and approach to retirement planning is going to have a significant impact for many people, and CPP2 is going to be part of that change. So we need to think about how CPP2 will affect your retirement plans. Even if you're in your 40s or 50s, you will get benefit from CPP2, and you need to think about how that impacts your retirement plan, how you approach retirement planning. The old strategies, the old rules of thumb will be changing as this benefit rolls out, as it gets bigger in the future. Now, we're going to be coming out with more case studies like this, more examples, so make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of those. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the next one.